we'll just look over these bikes, which I think over the past few years I'd class as the best I've bought. So I'm sort of happy in that point. So what I've got in there at the moment, this Honda Grom 5-speed, not a bad looking little bike. The Suzuki V-Strong 250 SX, another one, fairly happy with that one. Over this way we got the Honda GB 350. It's a really good bike on the dirt, especially with those off-road tyres. Our favourite here, Classics 350 Reborn. Had some good days on that one there too. Last one to arrive was what, 3 weeks ago, and that's the X-Max scooter. So that's roughly what's sitting here at the moment. Most of these bikes, I think, this one here is done under 1,000 kilometres. That one there, I think up around 700 kilometres now. This is GB over there, 3,000 Ks. The Enfield 3,000 Ks. This scooter, I think the scooter's only done about 100. If it's done 100 kilometres, I'm not sure on that one. It hasn't done much. But more importantly, a new one's arrived, or should I say a new second-hand one. So we'll swing straight over to that now, and you can take a look at that one. Maybe a bit of a surprise to you, so I just thought I'd show you these first, because you might go on shock mode when you see what I've bought. So once again, this was a purchase where I couldn't get hold of it new, so I had to buy it used. So I suppose when you hear the stats there, it doesn't sound like I ride them much, but you also have to take into account there was a Honda CB125F, a Vespa Super Sports 300, and then Max 155. So I was riding those there too. So when you rotate them between all different bikes and that, well, naturally it's pretty hard to clock a fair few Ks on one bike, but I tried, so that's why good thing, go for it. But anyway, let's have a check this new one out and we'll go from there, or should I say new used. Okay guys, thanks for tuning into the channel today. Over here now, and here's me new set of wheels. Love it or loathe it. Yeah, so this is a 2019 model Honda Super Cub. Now this particular colour, when it first came into Australia back then, they were on a small batch of 72 units, so only 72 of them come in here, and they were highly collectible. I actually tried to get one of these back in 2019, couldn't get one brand new, had to settle for ringing up people second hand or used or mint condition sort of unregistered jobs, and in those days they wanted 10 grand for them, which I thought was a little bit overpriced for one of these. But I've always had a bit of a liking for these, hard to believe, but the very first bike I bought back in 1967 was a Honda Step Through in a 50cc, sort of a lighter colour like that one there, like with that in blue, and that's what the attraction was going into one of these. I suppose a lot of them just won't sort of like the idea of one of these, but that's how it is, and this is the thing I was after. I went to a fair bit of trouble to get onto this one too, after I'd changed my mind on the other Chariot, and there was a couple of them for sale. One guy wanted 9,000 for his, virtually 8,250 plus the cost of involved to go and get it and then re-register it and things like that. So it would have worked out pretty well, fairly dear. So this particular one, I got onto it. Best thing about this one, it was a one lady owner, and she bought the husband bought it for her brand new to learn on. She put on something till she got I suppose a P-plate, and then didn't ride it anymore and put it in the garage or a shed. But the only real issue was it come from outback New South Wales, and that's red dirt territory, or red fine powdery dirt territory. So when I got it, I had to get into it, give it a good bit of a clean up all round. It presents itself nice now, but there's a few things I've got to do to it. And one, I've just drained the petrol that was in it and put in fresh petrol. Two, I want to drop the oil and do an oil change on it too. So that's number two. So they're the most two important things I want to get into it. Oh yeah, and I might rip out the air filter at the under in this section here. I might rip that one out and give it a clean out and see if it's dirty too. Now, believe it or not, this bike is only, like I said, she bought it brand new, or he bought it for the wife brand new back in 2019. It presents itself really well. Nice panel, nothing there that you could really knock on it. And believe it or not, it's only done 350 kilometres since new. So 350 kilometres. It was a one owner and also one original owner, and it also come with the original purchase receipt when they bought the bike over in Canberra. So apart from that, I got that, the 2 keys, and I also got the owner's manual and things like that, which is really important when you're buying sort of bikes. And you know, chances are, I did inquire about a couple of other of these in the model after it, and the thing is, you know, a couple of them just never had the paperwork or anything like that. Not that matters with those, because this is the one, if I was going to have anything, I'd rather have all the paperwork with, just for the sake that, you know, it's only 72 coming to Australia. And if you're not familiar with these cubs, believe it or not, these are the highest selling bike in the world. So I think at this stage it's up around 110 million sales on these since they first come out, I don't know, 60 years ago or something like that. But overall, you know, it's not a bad little bike to ride, and like I said, it's in good condition. I'll swing in a bit closer. Very attractive. What lured me was the seat, and when they brought out this 2018, if you're not aware of, the Honda idea was the dark blue colour is the ocean, the light blue colour was the sky, and the red seat was apparently by Mr. Honda, always liked either wearing a red shirt or a red skivvy or something like that, and that's the idea of the red seat. So if you say, oh, what's wrong with getting one of the newer models and doing it up in this colour and getting it away? Well, if you look at a new one compared to this, there's a little bit of difference. For a start, the new models come with a rear rack. They also come with a side stand, and also with this one, notice here, there's no foot pegs. So there is a little bit of difference in that line there. So overall, yes, overall I'm pretty happy with the little beast. You know, I really like that navy blue colour, and I like that, you know, it's got, you know, a lot going for it. It's got a couple of slight marks on it. I noticed it's got a little bit of a scuff mark here on the plastic, but, you know, for the price I bought it for, and we'll go into that on the next clip when I go into it in more detail, the price I bought it for, I can't complain. You know, I reckon I got myself a good deal. I actually bought this unregistered to start off with, and then got the guy who I bought off to blue slip it, register it, and then bring. Also, I think it's got a pretty smart taillight system. It's got LED headlight, taillight, indicators. Differs a little bit from the US model. There's no kill switch up here, and like I said, LED lights. Oh, and the indicators. See how indicators on the Australian version, or maybe the European, differ from the ones in America where they sort of stick out more. So overall, like I said, it's got 350 k's on the clock, and what else? Oh yeah, it's got the electronic key system like what's on a lot of the new bikes now. I'm not all that keen on that idea, but you know, not much you can do about that. They only hold 3.7 litres of petrol. They're capable of, I don't know, maybe 60 mile an hour flat. It seems to be running along out here. I sat on 80 kilometres an hour just on the way out here, and it did that quite easy. It runs on 17-inch rims, front and rear. Naturally, in the front section we got ABS braking. These were knocked in Australia near the end. I think they brought them in 18, end of December 18, sold them in 19. Give it a year, and then decided there might be a bit of money selling them, and then brought in the new model. So like I said, when they brought in the model after this one, it was really a red one, and that's when they put the rear foot pegs on it, the seat, oh well, the rack, and things like that on. And it probably had, I'd say it would have had dual channel ABS, because this one's got disc at the front and drum at the rear. But you know, overall it is really well looked after, and like I said, the lady that I bought off, she only used it apparently in the early stages just to get the confidence, get a learner's permit, then a P plates or whatever, and then after that sat in the shed and ran out of rego after that and just sat there. So in my case, what I'm planning to do, like I said, I've just already I drained all the petrol, put fresh stuff in. I'll do an oil change on it, things like that. What I'm planning on doing, and I've done this on bikes before, I'm going to do the oil change tomorrow, run it from 350 kilometres up to 500 kilometres, and dump the oil again. And I may do that a couple of times by the time it gets to 1,000. And if you're aware of bikes I've had before in this line, I've had a couple of the CT125 trails, because when I missed out on this when the first lot come in, I ended up going to the trail and I had a tan one and a red one. So what I'm planning on doing after that is when I drop the oil, I've got still one of the magnetic sump plugs, and I'll put a magnetic sump plug on it, because with this particular one, you've only got the screen inside the motor to pick up rubbish, where I think the latest one, if you looked earlier on the channel there when I just brought it on, I showed you the yellow Grom, it's got the later 125 motor with the built-in oil filter, where this one hasn't actually got an oil filter. This one's just got that screen, what they talk about inside, and you know, you just do regular changes, which they went on like that for many years. So overall, I tell you what, it's fairly humid out here today too, but I'll just go back over here and show you what a really nice place where you can pull up here at the local reservoir. This is the water supply, and look at that. And because it's right on the road here, they've even made themselves a ramp, so when the water's up high like it is, they can go straight down this ramp, put their boats in, and they can go out there fishing. So they've got that pretty well covered. So, but overall today, you know, it's a fairly warm day today, about 33 degrees. So I thought, you know, I wasn't able to get things under control yesterday and get it, so I just thought after I cleaned it up, because like I said, it was covered a bit with red dust and stuff like that, because it come from inland New South Wales, and out that way it is red dust country. So I think I've cleaned it up very well. So we'll go over it once more in a slow pan, and you'll be able to get a bit better look at it. I know this isn't going to be to some people's liking, but you know, not much we can do about that, because you know, like I said, the first bike I ever bought back in 1967 when I started at the post office was a Honda Step Through 50cc. Never had my licence or nothing. I was only earning $34.50 a fortnight at the post office when I worked there. A mate and I went to Sydney, I'd saved me money up, end up buying a little step through like this in 50cc's for $50 at Capital Motors in Sydney. And we put it in the back of his EJ Holden boot and brought it back home that way. And then I put it on a bloke I know on a property just on the outskirts of where I live. He used to let me park it out there, and my mate bought one a couple of weeks after that one, and we used to ride around there for several months. So the only thing that's changed between that one, that was 50cc's and 4 horsepower. I think this one's about 10 horsepower, and this one's fuel injected with front ABS. The other one was just carby, and the other one had a kicker, where this one hasn't got a kicker. But one good thing about this one, it has got a sight glass on it. You can see the oil level just down there, just a bit under the other. So I think the smart idea for me at the moment is don't ride it too far, get that oil changed, get the magnetic sump plug on it, and I am ready to party. So overall, I hope you found this interesting. It mightn't have been what you were expected, but to me this bike is a trip back in time. And you know, the first bike I ever bought, like I said, was a step through like with a 50cc motor, exactly the same as this, except it was sort of a light bluey grey, and it had a bench seat. So you know, I thought I'd like to go back and revisit those days. And coming out here on it, you know, I wouldn't be lying to you if I said I really enjoyed the experience. And I suppose you might say, oh yeah, I suppose you would, you've got that and those other ones back there. Well, maybe that's right too, but the thing is, you know, like the older you get, you're more able to look back and say they weren't bad times when you were a kid. So I'd class, when I bought this one in those days, I was about 15. I suppose you'd still be classed as a kid in those days. And you know, the best thing is I got the chance to revisit it. The opportunity was there, so I took it. And more importantly, you know, I'm pretty happy with the overall of it. Got no dents or anything in it. So that's about the best I can tell you on this one. So once again, thanks for tuning in, taking a look. I'll probably be putting up a few clips on this one, so that might annoy some people. It's hard to say, but you know, I bought it to ride, not to look at. I'm really thinking how it'll go out on the dirt roads, and I can take it out to areas where I took some of the other bikes and see how it climbs around in those places. So, you know, that's probably my idea. Whether that happens or not, I don't know, but we'll see. If you've got any comment on this, or you know, say whether you hate them or not, well, you know, or you like them, or whatever the case, leave a comment and I'll give you a reply. So cheers for now.